Alright, so tomorrow, the second Piggy novel finally releases, Piggy the Cure. Now, I want to talk about some things and basically make, I guess, mini predictions. So, one, let's say we have two options. This book's either an original story. Yes, this is an original novel, but the story isn't original if you look at the first novel, which is a retelling of book one, but with different characters, and they remove the one location being the hospital. Could that be the same thing here? If so, here's what they'll probably do. They'll probably remove the alleys, because why would you need alleyways? Because I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've read the first novel, but I don't think Ben knew Doggy, so I don't think they'll have any bonding. Because Ben's not a police officer. If I remember correctly, he's just a random kid. So him having a flashback with Doggy would be a bit weird. So I don't see that happening at all. So don't expect alleys. I'm assuming it'll just take place or just like pick up at the safe place, maybe at the ending cutscene of alleys. But we're not gonna know. First, we need to figure out what happened at the because the final page in the first book, they go into the lab, which we still don't know who that is, who is in there. So we're gonna probably pick off of that. Then we'll go to the safe place, and then we'll just move on to the store map, and then they're on. Then the ending of store maps, what's gonna be interesting. Who is gonna be TSP? Because Willow and I think it was Katie and Pandy are good guys, because we see Katie and Pandy in the book. I think it was those two. But they were shown in the book. So we know those two are good guys. Those three are good guys. So who's TSP in the story? Here's my prediction. Pony, Zizzy, Mimi, Giraffe, and then the other ones I don't know. Someone said maybe George, Z, and Zuzi, which I don't really see kids being a part of TSP. Maybe they'll make them older because it is an alternate universe, so there's that. But I don't see that really happening. I don't see them being a part of it. So I say maybe either TSP will be new made-up characters, or it'll just be characters we already knew, like maybe Kona's a part of it, but I do want to talk about him later. So it will either be made-up characters for characters we already knew from the game, or it will be new characters and old characters together. There's that. Now I want to talk about Budgie. If this is a recreation of Book 2, will they do the whole ship thing? Will they go across the ocean? Which I think they might. I could be wrong, but I thought the description said they do. So we might see Budgie. If so, will it be Budgie, or will it be a replacement character for her? Will they make their own pirate character? Because there's not many pirates in Piggy. There's Ghosty and Budgie. That's pretty much it. So either they make Ghosty there as a actual living being and not a ghost, or they make their own custom character, which I kind of feel like that's what they're going to go with, a custom character. That's just what I'm thinking. Now we have Kona. If they do go to the temple, which they might, I don't know if they would go there. I'm guessing they would, if this is them looking for the cure, like book 2. So I say they do go to the temple. Okay. Who is going to be Kona in this story? Will it be Kona and Robbie, or will it be new characters? Because we haven't seen Robbie in the first story. Like, I'm talking about like me and Robbie here. We haven't seen any versions of Robbie. Me and Robbie wasn't in the mall in the first book. It was just random infecteds. So, will Robbie be here? Does he exist at all in this universe? Because we know the Chainsaw one, by the looks of things, it doesn't exist. So there's a possibility that Robbie might not exist, but maybe Kona will. If so, who's Kona's friend? Because we know Mimi and Kona are friends in the game. Who would be Kona's friend here? Or is it once again just going to be a made-up character, or a different character that we've already known from like the game taking his place? That's also just another mystery. Now, one thing that sucks is there has been no images, from what I can see, of like leaked pages. First novel got leaked pages. The third novel got leaked pages. The survival manual got leaked pages, but this one hasn't. So it's a bit weird. Um, Hopefully it has pages, because it's a bit weird that there hasn't been any pages leaked yet, from what I know at least. So hopefully tomorrow when it releases, hopefully I can get it first day. Probably not. Um, but yeah, hopefully it has pages and it's not just words. Cause if there are new characters, I want to see what they look like, you know, so we can make fan art of them. Cause I personally like fan art. Anyway, what else do I really want to talk about? Okay, so let's say, what if this book is an original story? What will they do with this? Will there be new locations, or will they just take some existing locations and just throw them in here, or are they going to be new locations? Because maybe the first novel, it was a recreation of book one. Maybe the second novel, no, I already messed that up. Maybe the first novel was just a test to see like what this person can make and write. Maybe it's just a little test, just to like get people like to understand what this person makes. And maybe the second novel is going to be its own thing, its own story, its own characters. Without, because I don't think they'll be using like, if this is an original story, they might not use existing characters. They could make their own characters up. Now, what we do know about this book is it'll be Ben's there. Ollie, I don't know what his name, I can't remember. The little kid who replaces George, and Badgie and Billy, we know will be there. Willow will probably appear, and then Badgie's sisters, or whatever you want to call them. Bit weird. I don't know why he has them, because there was never any mention of them in the game, so I wonder if this is just something that's only canon to this universe, or does he actually have sisters in the actual game itself? I don't know. So one thing we know about book 2 is this is when the whole zombie apocalypse story started to slow down and became more of a supernatural story with Tio. And as we know from the third book, which I should just be calling it the graphic novel, because it's not even the third book in this series, because it's weird. So the first book we got was the first book. This is the second book. Third book isn't this story, it's its own story. The fourth book then continues this story. So graphic novel. I'll just say graphic novel instead to make it easier. This one's the novel, the other one's the graphic novel. So in the graphic novel, Piggy is like the leader of the infected, making her kind of seem like the leader of the insolent. So is that going to be the same thing here? Is she the leader of the insolent? Because in the third book in this series, the cover has her as distorted Piggy, meaning there's a possibility they have to face her here, and maybe her distorted form is her like most powerful form, or like basically like the Tio form he takes when he's doing the boss fight with you. Is that what's going to happen here? That's a possibility. Also, will they call her Piggy or Penny? I'm going to say Piggy because, let's face it, everyone was complaining about the graphic novel when Willow said, it's Piggy. Why are you complaining? They called her Penny in one chapter and never again. So, why in the world are you so mad? They don't even use the name Penny, except for one chapter. She's called Piggy. We all know her as Piggy. Everything in Piggy Hunt, she's called Piggy. In like her distorted form, it's not distorted Penny, it's distorted Piggy. So I don't know why people are so mad about the third novel. And I know if they call her Piggy in this book, people are probably gonna be mad. But just stop. Her name's basically Piggy. Like, it's at this point, I think her name's just Piggy because no one calls her Penny. So I just want to say that real quick. Because I know people are probably going to be pretty mad about that. Alright, so let's say Penny is the main boss of the second book. I'm going to call her Penny now because I can. I like messing with people. Although I just had a little rant about me saying her name pretty much Piggy, I'm going to mess with people now and call her Penny for the rest of this video. Anyway, If Penny is the main boss of the second book, the third book will probably have a return, because doesn't this kind of look like those scenes in movies where the villain gets defeated and then he gets up and like looks in the distance and then he says, "Curse you, insert random team name here." That looked like that's what's happening here. So I say she gets defeated, then she comes back, and I guess they have another face-off, and then maybe that's the end of this trilogy thing, because I don't know, I feel like this cover looks like a send-off to like a series, because you have the storm going away with the sunlight peeking in. I don't know, it just feels like this book might be the finale to the whole Ben storyline, because what could you do after this book? Because you're looking for a cure in the first book. No. Well, yes, you are. Well, actually, no. First, you're looking for your friend. Second book, you're looking for a cure. This book, called Hunt. Piggy Hunt. What are you hunting? I don't know. I'm going to need to go back and read the description for the book again, because I don't remember what they're hunting for. Alright, I'm too lazy to read this, so here's Google Translate.
3 months after his adventures in Doveport, Ben and his friends have been sweeping the island of Lucella for the infected, administering the newly created cure and reuniting families. However, the only real cure to their problems will be finding out how this infection started and putting a stop to it. The search for answers will bring our heroes face to face with their deepest secrets and darkest fears and pull them into a battle for the island of Lucella itself.
Why does it say Lucella like that? Anyway, yeah. So they do find a cure, which this is a bit of a spoiler. I'm just going to mention that, but like a huge spoiler. So they find it, and they start curing people, meaning... So they find... I mean, we know they find a cure in the end of book 2, and they're reuniting family, so meaning, like, whoever is Zizzy in this book, I think it was Badgie, so if he gets infected, they're gonna cure him, probably. So they do find it. Now, they don't really mention anything about Piggy, so I don't know if she'll be a big part of it. They don't really mention anything about it. They also don't know how it started, meaning... So, the person we're after didn't start it, because he says, Mr. P in the game says how it started, pretty much like he started it. He gave them a cure, everyone was starting to get infected by each other. It was pretty much Mr. P's fault, but here it looks like whoever we're going to meet inside of the lab, they didn't start this, which is kind of interesting. So someone else did this. Maybe Piggy, because like the graphic novel said, she's the leader of the infecteds, meaning, could that be the same thing here? Is she the main villain? Maybe. But anyway, that's all I have to say about the second novel, and a little bit of the third novel. Will any of this stuff I said be correct? Probably not. Or it will, you never know. To be honest, it's a 50-50. I'm trying to think of if I needed to mention anything else about the book, but I don't think I do. There is one thing, though. If this book does have, like, actual drawing pages, I want them to show these rats in the actual book, so it can kind of prove my theory that anthropomorphic animals live with non-anthropomorphic animals, because when I told this theory to the people in the Piggy Discord server, they were all being jerks, yelling at me, saying, that makes no sense. Then when I came back with evidence, they just ignored me. Like, what jerks? Anyway, there's that. Also, I need to make scripts for these videos. Like, this would be so much easier if I just had a script written down, but I don't. I just go on a whole... I just start saying things that just come to my head. Like, I need an actual script. But yeah, that's everything. The book comes out tomorrow on August 1st. Like I said, I'm gonna try and pick it up when it comes out. I might not. I'm hopefully gonna go to BAM. Maybe they'll have it. Maybe they won't. That's if I even go there. But when I do get it, I will make YouTube shorts. I don't know if I'll make a full one video, but I'll make YouTube shorts kind of like I did for the first book. And I'll just talk about like little things I find interesting. And if there are actual non-anthropomorphic rats in this book, you know I'm gonna be all on that thing. Anyway, book comes out tomorrow, like I said. So go buy it. The first book was good in my opinion. Yes, it was just a retelling of book one, but I still enjoyed it. Go buy it. You will also see this a lot in your local book fairs in school, because the first book, from what I've heard from my cousin, they just had this entire section, I guess, just for Piggy, just for this book. So yeah, be on the lookout for this. If you're at school, you might want to get it there, or it might be cheaper in stores. I don't know. Buy the book, please. Support Minitoon. Give him more money that he does not need.